Telfer gets the return ball back. Ian McShane, he gets past them too easily. Morton, Kilty has a shot and scores! The thing we were not wanting, straight after half time, 46 minutes gone, and Falkirk just ripped open. Kilty scores. It's Falkirk 0, Morton 1.
You have to say, Falkirk, the architects of their own downfall. At least 2, if not 3 opportunities to clear the danger. They failed to do so. The cutback was all too easy for Kilty, who you also have to ask the question just why Kilty had so much time and space in the box. Terrible mix-up between McKenna and Edgingkelly. Chance for Morton to kill the game. Cutbacks there, must be 2-0, and is. Edgingkelly and McKenna punished, they get it all wrong. Charlie Telfer off to celebrate, and it looks like Falkirk, well, the trapdoor is staring him in the face.
What's that?
It is Lewis, and I've got to be honest, that was
What's that, brother?
Comic cut defending from Edgingkelly and Kieran McKenna. And that explains their season in one single move for me, Lewis. Absolute terrible defending, a ball that could have been easily back to the goalkeeper. And why was McKenna and Edgingkelly both going for the same ball?
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!
What is happening, Bairns? Welcome to In the KM, One South Standard's point of view on all things navy blue. As always, I am your host Ray, and in today's video we will be looking ahead to Saturday's visit of Greenock Morton to the Falkirk Stadium, where we will be hoping to overturn, as you would have seen in the video intro there, a horrible wrong that was committed to us 5 years ago. In terms of what we'll be doing today, we'll be looking at how the teams are shaping up going into things, any club news as well. First off, a couple of club things to go over as well. As a lot of you would have seen, Aidan Nesbitt's secured a new contract. Well done, thoroughly deserved, and he's just been such an integral player for us over the last year or two. You see how much we miss him. As soon as he's back in the team, it's that, like, I can sit here and talk about drive and industriousness and energy, but really I just be repeating the same stuff I say about him all the time. He's Ken. I'm a big fan of Aidan, big fan, glad to see him signing a new contract. He looks buzzing as well. The cup game against East Kilbride, you all have seen that game has been moved to TV to accommodate the demand for tickets, which far outweighs the £300 tickets for that. Honestly, we should just be in a battle royale for that. Just last man standing, last person standing rather. It's 2024, Ray, come on to fuck. Last person standing emerges with the tickets, because you could probably get about well over 1,000 easily going to a cup game like that. 300, man, Jesus Christ. But it's their home ground, whatever. So that's moved to the telly, so it means we'll get to watch it, the majority of us who won't be attending, and that'll be on Monday the 2nd of December. I better get some time off work for that. Anyway, on to the game itself. So how are things looking going into it? So we've not had any further updates during this time since the last presser at the weekend there, in terms of injuries and things like that. I'm sure we'll no doubt get an update on this at some point tomorrow, which I'll be sure to update the video with any new developments. Hopefully it's good news, hopefully there's no injuries or anything like that, touch wood. In terms of how Morton look going into the game, their form at the moment, I'm just bringing up their form now. So they lost last time out at Queen's Park. They went down 1-0. Sorry, I should say they were at home to Queen's Park. So they were at Capello, they lost 1-0. My mate, who is a Morton supporter, said he left the game at half time. So it shows how good the overall feeling in the camp there is. The fans are not happy with how things are going. But here's the thing with Morton, right? I mean, I'm looking at their games recently. All right, okay, they lost 3-0 to Hamilton at New Douglas Park in their game before it. Beating Accies away, isn't it, for everybody? But when you think of, I'm not trying to make excuses for them. I'm not here to talk about Morton, obviously, but when you just hear about the things that are going on at their club, do you know what I mean? Like, they're having to bring in emergency goalkeepers, and I've looked at their bench the last 2 games on the trot. They've had 4 subs, so they can't even make all the subs they want to make. Even if they had enough players, they couldn't do it. It's crazy that there's so much discontent, and people are calling for the manager's head. And Dougie Imrie's a wee throbber, we all ken that, but what is he meant to do when he can't even fill a bench? How is he meant to change things when it's gone tits up? As well, I mean, I suppose one thing that falls on him is the recruitment, eh? I mean, the Kirk Broadfoot, the guy's 40-year-old, man. And they signed Niall McGinn as well. They signed him actually the day that we played them at Capello. But did he even come on in that game? I don't think he did. Fuck knows. I can't remember. But they're reliant, they're going down that path that we all know too well as well, where you start relying on the experience and the old heads. And the thing is, though, there's old heads and there's experience, and then there's just signing guys that are old duffers that are past it. And come on, Kirk Broadfoot is 40-year-old. Like, he shouldn't be playing at this level. Like, he wasn't that good in his prime. Do you know what I mean? I mean, you can say that about us with, like, say, like Neil McCann or Jackie McNamara, but these were guys that played at a pretty high level. I know Kirk Broadfoot played for Rangers, but he was never a standout for them, Christ's sake. But anyway, I digress here a wee bit. So, looking at their other results, right, before that, 0-0 draw away at Dunfermline. Beating Dunfermline away is not for everybody. And beating Hamilton 1-0 away in the cup. Oh, well, that just invalidates what I said a minute ago. Fair enough. And beating Morton. Morton beat 2-0 against Wraith Rovers. Well, I guess beating Wraith Rovers isn't for everybody. Fuck's sake. So, aye, their form's been a wee bitty on the patchy side. And they find themselves, bringing up the table here, they are 1 point behind Dunfermline, so they are 8th in the league. Now, things are going pretty bad at the moment, but I think you've got to really take into consideration the injuries and things that they've had as well. And here's the thing, fans at other teams, right, they act as if, oh, you're not allowed to use that as an excuse. Look, you get injuries and you lose half your squad, it's going to affect any team that isn't Man City. Do you know what I mean? And when you've got 4 players on the bench, like, what is he meant to do? So the interesting thing is, whilst they are circling and tickling the relegation zone, you's all ken what it's like in this league. A couple of wins, get back into a wee bit of form, you could be shooting right back up the table to around the playoffs. That's just what this crazy league is like. You can literally, you're 2 or 3 losses away from plummeting down the table, and likewise 3 wins or so away for jumping right back up it again. That's just what it's like. I mean, who, for example, had it on the cards for Livy to get absolutely pumped by Dunfermline the other night? I certainly didn't. I gave them credit in my reaction video, as you can. I said that I reckon that they've turned the corner now, and I think that they'll kick on for here. And I thought they might get a draw against Livy. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe a wee sneaky 1-0 if we're lucky, but 3-0, that was no on the cards at all. Fair play. But with Morton, they come into this game in some bad form, and I wonder if this is maybe when that absolute scudding comes that we've all been predicting for a wee while now, but it hasn't come as of yet. I think that this is possibly when it happens. I mean, my mate, for example, isn't even going to this game on Saturday because he's just no up for it at all. It'd be interesting to see how many Morton supporters do make the journey, because I think that's going to be the general vibe. So it might not be a massive support that they take. Not that you would be expecting them to anyway, but I think that this could be a really, really tough game for them again. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here again, but if we get an early goal, I think that they'll be in for a very, very long game. it seems to be when we do get an early goal that we kick on and we dominate games and we destroy the teams. It's when they try and sit in and try and frustrate us. That's when our heads don't go down or anything like that. But I think that when teams don't concede early to us, it gives them a bit of confidence and they try and build a bit more into the game, even if they're not really creating anything. But if we can start the game fast and get an early goal, I think that this could be a game where you maybe see 4 or 5 or something crazy like that. Because this is not a team in particularly great form. They're not playing with a lot of confidence, and they're slower than a week in the jail at the back as well, which is absolutely going to play into our hands when you think about the types of players that we've got in the forward areas. So that's all I've got to say about Morton specifically. But what we'll do next is we'll have a wee look at the head-to-heads. So, last time we played them, of course, that was the 3-2 at Capello, no that long ago. Just as a wee reminder, we went 2-0 down within 25 minutes or so. Both set pieces, both from free kicks. No, I don't want to say this is like a weakness of ours, but we are starting to concede a few goals from set pieces. It's not a weakness or anything, like I say, but it's a concern, and I wonder if that's what Morton will look at again and think that's where we might get a bit of joy. We're no soft in that regard, but see, to be honest though, see the goal that Dunfermline scored against us last week, it's a brilliant delivery and it's a great header as well. Sometimes you've just got to get credit, but I do, if I recall correctly, both of the goals that were conceded against Morton were really poor from a defensive standpoint, with guys unmarked, and you're just like, what are you doing, man? So we go 2-0 down in that game, but such is the spirit of this team that we dig in and we get back into it. If you recall, Spencer gets a penalty, which apparently Tate dived, don't think so, and then Tate equalises, and then Argument scores with 15 minutes left to go. So that's the last time we played Morton. In terms of how the overall record looks, last time before that, if you recall, we played Morton in the League Cup and beat them on penalties. And Katongo got sent off for them right on the stroke of half time, and Henderson also got sent off for us. Hendo loves getting sent off in a cup game, doesn't he? But I managed to win on pens there. And the times before that, that's where we've got to go back to, as you would have seen again in the intro, the best season in Falkirk's history. Not. That was where that game, the 2-0, like, I know putting that up there, some of you might think, that's wide as fuck, what are you doing that for? But really, I want to illustrate as well, and just anybody that's maybe a more recent convert, like me or others as well, just as reminders that is how low we were at one point, and look how much a turnaround it's been. I mean, just for those 2 goals alone, the defending is fucking embarrassing. It really is. They look like they haven't got a clue what they're doing. And whilst that particular game, that 2-0, the one that I showed the clip of, didn't officially relegate Falkirk, it was all but done at that point. It was needing a miracle, pretty much, which didn't happen. And that was it. As you know, the rest is history. 5 years down in the Seaside League. By that year, incidentally enough, we failed to beat Morton even once. Lost 1-0 away in the first game against them. Drew 0-0 at the stadium. Drew at Capello again, and then the 2-0. So up until the game at Capello just recently there, we hadn't made much of a habit of beating them, to be honest. But again, got to put into perspective that we were absolute dog shite that season, and if I recall, I think Morton were actually okay that season. Let me just check the league standings where they finished. So Morton finished 5th that season. Alright, they weren't amazing or anything, but they were alright. But bad times. It's interesting as well, because the last game at Capello, I was speaking to a few Morton fans who were very quick to deny their hatred of Falkirk, but it was in a way where I didn't quite buy it. Yous ken as well, anybody that's active on social media, that there's still comments, there's a little bit of spice to it as well. And I don't know about yous, but I'm really looking forward to putting things right, because that game in 2019, that lives long in the memory, doesn't it? Well, you tell me, anybody that's got memories of that particular game, how you were feeling at that time as well. Please do share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear from yous. I'm not getting enough interaction in these comments. Come on, yous are all watching the videos. Where's the comments, man? But aye, that's how the head to heads are looking going into this one. But in terms of what do I really think is going to happen, then like I said, I've hinted to as well already. I do think we're going to win, but it's going to be a case of, is there going to be any complacency going into this game? How much do Morton want this? How up for it are they going to be? If we go into this game thinking that Morton are an easy touch and that we don't have to play all that well to win, I think we'll struggle a wee bit. I think we'll still win, but I think it'll be another one of those games where it's maybe not too pretty. But I think that if we approach this game in the way that I know that we can, and start the game fast and get a goal early, we'll be absolutely fine. I've got no doubt about that in my mind. Few questions as well is down to the personnel that McGlynn goes with. The biggest question of all being, does Ross Maciver start, or does he stick with Gary Oliver? Now, there's two trains of thought on this, right? Because McGlynn is loyal to a T, as we all can. But if you recall, when Nesbitt was fit again, he was thrust straight back into the team. I think he maybe got a sub appearance, and then like the next game he was straight back in. Now, Ross Maciver had an interview in the Falkirk Herald where he'd said, he's going to fight for his place, etc. as well. And that's just the mentality that's been bred into this team. But he'll know himself. He's the number one pick, no Gary Oliver. Gary Oliver's done all right. Don't get me wrong. He's well, see, to be fair, he's maybe had a bit of an up and down spell up top. He's done better than I expected he would, put it that way. But there's no doubt that when Ross Maciver's fit, I'm not wanting him sitting on the bench. I don't care about yous. If any of yous feel any different, again, please do correct me on this. But for me, you've got to go with your strongest 11. I get loyalty to players, and I get you want to keep folk in that are performing reasonably well, but we've all been crying out for Maciver. We've been desperate to see him get back for injury. If he is fully fit now, I mean, bear in mind he came on for 20 minutes against Dunfermline, and he's now had mostly a full week of training now. Surely he's going to be raring to go in this game. Let's get him back in for the start. Let's see where he's at. If he's maybe still lacking a bit in fitness wise, I've got no issues with subbing him off at half time. What I don't like is I don't like keeping by the best players and then having to react and bringing them on. Start with the best 11. That's always been my philosophy on that. Pretty much if we're going with Maciver up top, you can the team picks itself really, based on the injuries anyway. You've got Hogarth in goal, you've got McCann at left back, Hendo, Graham and Adams, and then Spencer and Tate in the middle, Nesbitt in front, with Ross on the left and Miller on the right, and then with Maciver up top. I think that we'll be alright. I don't see why we can't score a few goals, and I would love to see Maciver get a goal against his former employer, same way Miller and Nesbitt as well. God, Morton are practically a feeder club for us, isn't it? Like half our team used to play for Morton. Crazy. But my prediction on this, I think that we will win this game. I'm going to go 3-0. I think that we need to start keeping clean sheets again, and I could see this being the game that we do that. I mean, we haven't kept a clean sheet since we drew with Livingston. That was 4 games ago. I'm backing the boys to keep the goals out and get a decent win. I'm going to go with 3-0. What do you think is going to happen in the game? Please, again, just let me know in the comments below with your predictions and what you are going to be up to on match day as well, because I'll be making the journey through for Ayrshire, so I'll be out and about. If I see any of yous, I'll be sure to say hello as well. that's all for this evening. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, I can't say it enough how much I genuinely appreciate that folk actually want to take time out of their day and watch me and listen to me talk shite about a football team for 20 minutes twice a week. It's genuinely, it's really humbling. I just do this for shits and giggles. I didn't really think anybody would watch them, so it's really, really greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much. Take care and bye bye.
Well, it was fucking one of yous. Disgusting!